Welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. Let's take a look at Notre Dame quarterback Ian Book. And there's two plays that I want to show you with him when it comes to reading leverage with coverage. Here's the first one. 3rd and 11, not big gain. A lot of short throws in this game early on to try and deal with the pressure that Georgia's presenting here. But it's about choices sometimes. You see him drop back. He's looking a little bit to his right. You see him then turn back to his left to the middle of the field here. And you can see the leverage here of the two defenders in this area for the tight end. First one is facing forward, but not really moving. The second one is working to the flat, buzzing to the flat to cover this running back. And of the two choices that you see here, I would prefer him take the deeper route. Because really, as he turns and throws this ball to this receiver, he's going to have a defender coming downhill here. But he's not really getting much depth, and he's hoping on the athlete here to outrun the coverage. Maybe the athlete should have continued running to the outside and up, and you could argue that that might have been the better play and might have been why Book hoped to throw this here. But I would have also liked to see him throw this ball to the tight end, who's going to break to the outside, get more depth, and maybe be able to turn upfield and get a better chance at least a 4th and short. You can see here, he probably catches the ball right here at about the 49. And if he does that, he's only a few yards away from a first down. So sometimes it's about throwing with anticipation as well. So you notice here, the receiver's already made his break on this route. The receiver that I'd like him to throw to is just beginning his break. If you throw with anticipation, you're going to hit the deeper receiver and give yourself a better chance at a first down or at least a 4th and short. And the difference between these two receivers is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yards on a 3rd and 11. So instead of here at minimum, you're going to get a 4th and 10, you could have a 4th and 4. Again, that gives you more opportunities at midfield in terms of whether you're going to punt or you're going to be able to go for it with your offense. And so the important part of anticipation, too, is that if you're throwing with anticipation, you're going to make your release by reading the leverage of the defense and making that decision so that the ball comes out at the top of the receiver's break. You can see here before he's turned, if he just plants this, if he finishes the plant here and steps into this throw, the ball's going to come out as this receiver is turning here. This defender is not going to be able to change direction and cut off the tight end's route. So the tight end's going to be open here. But he doesn't do that. See, right here is where he should be seeing this. Puts his foot in the ground right here. He could begin his throw here on the tight end. Instead, he comes off of it, pivots, goes to the check down. Really pretty much a play that's not going to give you more than a remote chance at a first down. Let's take a look at another play here from Ian Book. And you're going to see where this pass is nearly intercepted for what should have been a pick 6 right here by number 20. Totally anticipates the throw, reads the eyes of the quarterback, cuts it off. And the reason is the lack of anticipation. This right here is the point where the quarterback should have thrown the ball. And I'm going to go into detail why that is now in a minute. But first, see where he begins to bring the ball back, and he's not even at the apex of his release. And the tight end is already breaking. This is a see it, throw it type of situation that shouldn't be. See it, throw it works if the receiver is going to be wide open and there's no one in a position to really cut off this throw. Even if you have a great arm, this defensive back is going to be able to drive downhill. And he's already driving downhill. Before the quarterback is even bringing the ball forward, the defender is already in a position where he's driving downhill. Of course he's going to win this from this distance to catch this ball. So where should Ian Book throw this ball? Ideally, at the latest, right here, where he should be bringing the ball back. Why is that? Because the only defender with leverage to cut off this pass, if it's thrown accurately, is this safety. And right now, as you can see, the safety is on his heels, still sitting here, as opposed to on his toes and driving downfield. If the ball is already released at this point, or in the middle of his release point at the very latest, he should get this ball here on time. Because let's give you, say, another half beat here, right here. The difference between where he had the ball in terms of where he should have released it and where he's at the beginning of his release is the difference between the defender being on his heels and now on his toes and driving. And that's the difference between a step that would have either been a catch or what should have been here a pick six. But he shouldn't have thrown this ball. He shouldn't have even targeted this receiver. And I'm going to show you why in a second here. Did you see the motion? Let's see if we can show it again. You're going to watch this receiver that he's going to target motion across right there. 84 is motioning across. As he motions across, number 30 comes with him. And then you see number 20, who almost intercepted the pass, he starts to climb. So what gives here? What's going on here? Well, probably you look at this situation, you see a defender who's playing somewhat inside shade to this middle trips receiver, but you can see with the stance he's in that he could be opening up so that he's maybe playing a little bit more zone, but he's going to play deeper. So he's going to likely be covering this man primarily if this man's running a deeper route, which he is. This safety certainly isn't going to be covering anybody on this side of the field unless they break towards the middle. So what do you have here? Most likely if this linebacker moved with the tight end, that means that he has some form of responsibility over him, whether it's man in the shallow side of the field or some sort of zone responsibility in the shallow side of the field. Most likely man underneath. And then you have this defender who's playing an outside shade but going to have responsibility in the deeper area of the field on this tight end. So two players are basically playing this tight end. That leaves this guy open. If he's going deep, you should take a look at that depending on what the route is. But the route's probably breaking deeper than what you want to throw. And it leaves this outside man one-on-one. And you can see just before the snap. And that's the thing, is you have to keep an eye on the movement before the snap. Just like a second or two before and a second after. And just as he gets this ball, he should be scanning, oh, this guy's playing up. Let me go to the next spot here and keep an eye on the fact that this is the most likely player to be one-on-one. And if he looked at that and saw the defender backpedaling and read that leverage the way he should have, he knows this is the throw to make. But instead, he's looking at the tight end. And he goes to the tight end all the way on this play. Despite the fact that the tight end is not any deep, is actually shallower than this open receiver who just stops and cuts off his route on a 2nd and 7. And there's two defenders in the area here, and one's coming downhill on him. If he was throwing this ball right now, even later, without anticipation, to this outside receiver, it's unlikely that this defensive back cuts off the ball. It would be close, but probably less likely. So, one is that he should have thrown this ball to number 10. Two is that if he threw it with a little bit more anticipation, just in the way he should have thrown it to 84 with more anticipation, then he hits number 10 here pretty easily, and you get at least, you turn this into a 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2 situation rather than a near pick 6 and a 3rd and 7. So let's look at another play of his that also shows this type of situation where he's just not reading the field as well as he could. You could look at this and say, listen, it's a complete pass. It's a 5-yard gain on 1st and 10. Nothing wrong with that, right? Not really. But if you're talking about making the optimal play, I would say that there's a lot less left to be desired here with this. Because really, here's where you should be reading. He's beginning his first read. His first read looks like right away this side of the field, and you have 3 receivers working this side of the field. It looks like he's already pretty much X'd out the coverage position of the outside defender, knowing that he's dropping on a deeper route. He's also looking at this inside man and decides that that's probably going to not work out very well because the defender's working towards the middle, and this middle's covered pretty well. So the man that he's been looking at pretty much this entire drop phase has been the running back. Now, if you look at the running back and the coverage in that area, the coverage has its back turned to the running back and dropping deeper. This is an ideal situation for him to throw to the back because with the coverage dropping deeper, the running back has the opportunity to make the catch, get some yards in, and be able to set up a move on number 2 who's going to be turning himself around by the time the running back has the ball and his momentum downhill. So this is a good time to throw this ball. But Book doesn't recognize that with the leverage here. He may not even be seeing the leverage. That I don't know. But you'd like to see him see the coverage with the leverage in the periphery and understand that he sees the back. And when you see the back, throw the ball to the running back. So see the back of the defender, throw the ball to the running back. Instead, he's going to attack this crossing route. And you can see that there's a defender in the flat who's facing downhill. If you're going to throw to a receiver with a defender over top coming downhill, and you're going to lead that receiver towards that defender's downhill trajectory, you're throwing what's otherwise known as a hospital ball. And while this isn't quite a hospital situation, thank goodness, it is a bit of looks like a wrestling takedown in terms of how 10 gets lifted up in the air and slammed down to the ground, kind of a, modified version of a cross-body block there. And this could have been prevented. He didn't need to throw that. He would have gotten the same amount of yards, if not more, if he throws to this back. Makes an easier play, gives the running back an easier opportunity to possibly earn more yardage, and he doesn't put a player of his in danger. And if this receiver misses this ball or it gets knocked loose, there are 1, 2, 3 defenders in the area who have a chance to catch a tipped pass. Also not a great situation. Now the receiver is able to recover a small juggle with this hit. But if he throws it to the running back here and the running back tips this pass, maybe 2 players have a shot at it, most likely only 1. So these are just some things you want to consider strategically when you're thinking in that classroom about where you're going to throw passes, why you're going to throw passes, and keep those things in mind as you then convert that whiteboard knowledge into on-field practice and then into actual game play. And right now, Ian Book is making decisions that will work, but they're not the optimal decisions. And they put players at risk, or they're not getting the maximum amount of yards, and they're not incorporating anticipation and reading the leverage of coverage in a manner that's going to make him consistently successful at the next level. And so these are things that he needs to work on that can help him become a better quarterback. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, on my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.